Hello, welcome to Authentically You, where you're guided by light and you have all the power. I wanted this episode to be a bit more intimate because that's why I changed areas, and I don't know, I'm gonna share more about myself, and I just wanted it to be a little bit more personable, you know what I mean? But I hope that everyone's been doing well despite the things that are happening right now in our society. I continue to encourage everyone to hold on to hope no matter what your world shows you, to feel your feelings. If you feel angry, if you feel frustrated, don't hold it in your body, because it'll stay in your body and it'll become something not good for you, whether it be health issues or distortion in your thoughts, where you could start thinking more negatively. You could start thinking, just have negative influences drop into your thoughts, and you don't want that kind of stuff. You want to release all of that through whatever way feels best for you. If you want to work it out in the gym, go work out that frustration and anger in the gym. If you want to sing at the top of your lungs to a song that you always listen to make yourself feel better. If you want to dance it out like they do in Grey's Anatomy, whenever things are shitty, just don't let that energy sit in your body, okay? Remember that this is all heading somewhere good, and in order for healing to be able to truly happen and for healing to last, or to build a strong foundation with healing, that bad needs to come out. And that's what's happening right now. All the things that have been hidden, all the lies, all the crimes against humanity that have been committed for many, many years. It all has to come up to the surface, but it doesn't mean that you have to consume it all, okay? Take care of yourselves, protect your energy, because this is another way, another tactic that they can use. Because remember, this is a mind game, okay? This is psychological warfare. This is spiritual warfare. They want your attention, okay? So, if you want to keep yourself informed in balanced amounts, okay? Don't let it consume everything in your life, everything in your day. Set yourself some boundaries around that. Make sure that everything else in your life is also balanced, okay? So only a percentage of your day, that should only take not even a small percentage of your day, as opposed to everything else, your well-being, the people you love, the things that you love, okay? There are things that you can't control in your life. This is something we can't control. The energy will handle the justice. Let the energy handle the justice. Trust that justice will come for those that have done wrong. Okay? But don't let it consume you to the point that it takes away from your joy, it takes away from your own life, because that's what they want. They want your attention. Okay? And, many people have been going through their own healing journeys, whether that's spiritual, whether that's psychological, this is why this shift has been happening, because many of us have been going within, have been whether it's going to therapy, doing what we need to do to heal our traumas, the things that we've experienced that have been inside of us, that have been keeping us limited, because these things have caused us to feel like we are not worthy. We were conditioned to feel that we're not worthy on purpose, because if you feel like shit, you don't want to do anything for yourself. It makes you more susceptible to be more compliant, to want to work like a slave for big corporations for pennies an hour, for you to not want to really fight back, making you feel powerless. Okay? But we're starting to see that you are more powerful than you think. Your attention is more powerful than you think. That's what they're after, is after your attention. Because if you pay attention to them, you're more susceptible to believe whatever shit they're trying to do, whatever psychological thing they're trying to do. So it's important to keep yourself well balanced in that aspect. I'm not saying avoid it altogether, because I think it's important to stay informed. It's important to help the collective channel that grief and anger that comes up too, but also don't get consumed by it. There's a balanced way to do that, okay? I've been going through quite a bit these past few weeks since I last posted. I don't remember how long it's been, but a lot of shedding. I think a lot of us have been doing that, in whichever way it looks for you. For me, it's looked like letting go of another friend that proved themselves to not be safe, to be my full authentic self around. Started to get some bad vibes from that, and eventually she could not hide her envy. Like, I could see it, and instead of her admitting that she was jealous or that she was feeling triggered because something within her was triggering her by being around me, she instead decided to lash out at me. And that's that, right? And I had just decided that I was gonna distance myself after noticing the envy and the attitude that I was starting to pick up on, like this passive aggressiveness. And as soon as I told her I needed space is when she lashed out at me. That can happen when you cut access to your energy from someone. They will lash out. They will make you the bad person because their wounds, their rejection wounds, are flaring up. Okay? And it's not your responsibility to fix anyone. And I cleansed my energy. I called my power back. I set my energetic boundaries because I could already feel the negative energy being projected at me. So I set my energetic boundaries so that any energy sent my way gets reflected back to show their own shadows so that they can start their own healing. It was clear that they weren't really doing the work. They were more being performative. They made me feel like they were spiritual too, like me, and a lot of things were not adding up already, and I was letting it slide because I was like, whatever. I'm not here to try to force anyone to do things, like people do their own paths on their own thing, so I'm not here to force anyone to do anything, right? But it became a problem when our energies became unaligned, and so I had to let her go. And literally days after that, I spent some time with my family, and it was similar. The energy was off. I didn't feel comfortable. Like, the thing is, like, once you get to a certain point, you start, like, I was already sensitive to energy before any of this, and I've only become even more sensitive to energy. And so, like, I can feel people's projections. People, like, I can feel, like, with my friend, I could feel that negative energy. Like, and the same thing with I was with my family. Even though they didn't say anything, and they literally didn't say anything, like, no, how are you? How have you been? They stopped really caring about what or even asking about it because I had already distanced myself. I had already been distancing myself from my parents and just, but have been more closed off because I've never felt safe to be myself, like my true self around my family since I was little, since I was young. I was an emo kid who liked rock music. My favorite band was Korn. And I grew up in a Christian household. And my dad was an alcoholic, and he's sober now, but I still remember when I was a teenager and he was drunk and he sat with me. He came to my room and he sat with me and he's like, "If you stop listening to Korn, I'll stop drinking." Like, of course I said no, because my dad had been a drunk for most of, like, my entire life, so I knew that wasn't going to change at the time. I'm glad that it did, but I just never felt safe to be myself around them because I was judged, right? I was judged for my taste in music, or like I was a fan of One Direction, and I was very into the fandom and stuff, and I remember going to their concert and bringing my sister with me, and I was excited to share this with her because I had become a new fan, and I just wanted her to like, just their concerts were just really, it was great. I just had such a great time, and I just wanted to share that with my sister. And she sat down the entire time, wore a fake mustache, and she would tease me for liking One Direction a lot. And that also made me pull back a little bit, and she had made it unsafe for me to share my full self with her either. So I never truly felt seen by my family. And as I've been in my healing journey, like in our family, we grew up, like, the way that our parents showed love was by what they do for us, right? It's like what you can do or what you can be for them. That's what love is. That's how they grew up thinking love is. And with this healing journey, I've come to learn that that's not what love is. True unconditional love is loving someone for the good and the bad, no matter what, even if it's something you might not agree with, even it's seeing past the things, like, at least the way I see it is because of my self-love journey. That's why I see it that way, because doing the shadow work is looking at those parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, the dark parts, the parts that, you know, yeah, some of it is trauma, but some of it is even things that either you've done, or like if you've hurt anyone, like things like that, where you take accountability for things that you might have done too. And it's about giving yourself grace, like giving myself grace. It's been about giving myself grace. Like, I did the best that I could with what I had. And that's why I've never held any resentment or anger toward my parents at all, because I understand that's the kind of love that they grew up thinking was love too. So I don't hold resentment for them at all, for loving me that way. Because hey, they loved me. They kept the roof over my head. They provided for us the best that they could with the means we had. We didn't grow up with much, but we always had food on the table. We always had a roof over our heads, and for that I'm so grateful. But as I've come to become more myself now, like, it's like the less I feel accepted by them, like the more misunderstood I feel, because they're still in their limited religious thinking, right? They're Christian still. And they let their own limited beliefs misunderstand me on purpose, because I've had conversations with my sister where she's made comments and things like, where, well, I don't worship other gods. And I said, I don't worship other gods. I try to explain, like, I believe it all comes from the same source. They all come from God. But they don't bother to try to understand me. They just make their assumptions about me, and they distance themselves from me because it makes them uncomfortable. And I saw them, I went to spend time with them on Saturday because it was my brother's birthday, and I was the first one to arrive. My parents were there. And my dad had already been, they were on vacation, but my dad had sent me a message saying, "Oh, I love you. Hope you're doing well," which kind of caught me off guard because it's not really like my dad to do that. My dad is not very lovey. We've never had a very close relationship because of his alcoholism. And I thought maybe after he recovered, he might try to build a relationship with me, but it never happened. And I accept, and I also, like, part of my healing was also like not trying not to feel guilty for not initiating one, because it's like that was not, I felt like it's not my responsibility to start a relationship when he didn't initiate me. Like, he should get to know me, like I'm his daughter, right? If it's part of like the healing journey. But for whatever reason, I don't resent, I don't have hold no anger. I just have accepted that's just probably not going to happen, and that's okay. Like, I don't need my family to understand me. I don't need them to want to get to know me. But I also don't have to be present for them if they can't do that for me. And I think that's what the realization I came to on Saturday when I was there, because I was there, my parents were there, and they said hello. I said hello, I greeted them. But other than that, it was quiet for like an hour and a half until my brother arrived. No, how have you been? What have you been up to? How's everything going? Nothing. A couple of comments from my mom, but they were things that were almost like she was trying to grasp onto the old version of me. Things that were like old me, and also things that she already knew the answers to, but it was like she was trying to, I don't know what she was trying to do, but my body felt so uncomfortable. Like, I didn't want to be there. I just was like, we had to wait. My sister took forever to get there. She didn't get there till like a couple hours later. And then, because we were waiting for her to eat. And I just had told myself, I'm just going to eat and leave, because my body was not comfortable. And they weren't doing anything wrong or bad. And that's the thing. That's how sensitive I've become to energy, that I could just feel when the energy is not aligned. And so I left. And as soon as I left, I just got emotional again, because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't fake it. I can't show up for my family and fake it, like act like everything's okay when it's not. Like, I'm done having to explain myself. I'm done having to shrink myself to make them comfortable. And I don't feel like I should have to. And so I've been kind of like grieving that and processing that for the last few days, and I got the courage to draft like a message to my sister, and I decided to send it to her and let her know that I'm gonna need more space from everyone, that I'm gonna be away from family events, because I don't feel good being around them right now. She could tell my family, and if they reach out, I'm gonna stick to my boundaries. I'm not gonna bother explaining myself to my parents right now because when I originally set my first boundaries with them, my dad got really defensive and he lashed out at me, and so that made me think that I don't feel safe explaining myself to him anymore because he turned it around on me. Instead of trying to listen to me where I was coming from, he took it personally, and I just feel like if I try to do it again, that would happen, and I don't want to have to explain myself. I feel like wanting space should be enough to for them to be able to respect that, and I hope they do. It's really hard and it can get lonely, but at the same time, I'm at a point where I'm like, I would rather be alone than in bad energy because that's how good I feel. That's how much I've grown and how much lighter I feel after everything I've already like worked through within myself. And I've worked too hard to get to this point to let anything bring me back down, or if other people are not willing to do the work, like, I'm not gonna stick around. I'm not gonna stick around to and just pretend like I'm okay with it, Like, I'm just, I'm choosing me. And I trust that this will be a growing experience for us as a family. I fully trust that it'll make us stronger as a family, because I really do love my family. But they don't really know me. They don't know me. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. But this journey's been about learning that I don't need anyone's validation to know who I am, to trust that I'm doing the right thing. And like I said, I'm at this point in my life where I'd rather be alone. And if the energy doesn't feel right, I no longer hesitate to remove myself from that because I treasure my energy too much. So now it's just me and my friend, my senior citizen friend, who she loves and accepts me for who I am, and I'm very grateful for her. She's the only one who I've who's earned my trust to share with her the things that I'm experiencing during my journey, and she never makes me feel like I'm too much. She always encourages me. She always reassures me. She relates to me in many ways with her own life experience, which is very interesting. I can't wait to share more about that, which I will eventually, but she's my little sacred mirror. I feel like spirit uses her to speak to me, especially after I normally, what I've noticed the last two times the two times I've, like, when I let go of my friend last time too, I had just seen her and she was there, and like I got to vent to her about it. And the same thing just happened today too. When I sent my sister that message, I happened to see her after that. And it's like, she was just like, she reassured me that I was doing the right thing, and that we kind of now have an inside joke because she says she experienced something similar with her family, with some issues that she had, that she said her family kind of started acting weird around her and stuff. And I said, yay, black sheeps unite. We're the black sheep of the family. And it's okay. I don't mind being the black sheep. I've been used to it, and it's part of it is that I grew up very independent on my own because I was quiet, like I was very to myself. I never got in trouble, like in big trouble. Like my brother and sister got in more trouble for breaking curfew and stuff. I didn't have friends like that where I would hang out like late like that. Like I'm more like hung out with people from youth group and stuff. Like I was a goody goody. And so it makes sense that my parents would focus more on them because they would get in more trouble than me. And since I wasn't really much of a troublemaker, they trusted me to be okay on my own. And so I learned to just That's why I grew up very introverted and very in my own inner world, because I adapted. That's how I grew up. That's how I never had many friends. And I've always been one to love hard, over give, to try to prove my worth to others. And part of this journey has been calling that energy back, picking up all those pieces of me that I gave to others and hold them all within myself. Instead of seeking outside validation, is acknowledging and knowing that I'm completely whole on my own and that I don't need anyone outside of me to be happy. And such a freeing feeling, because as alone as it might seem that I am, I love my own company. I sometimes dread having to go like outside sometimes, or just be around a lot of people, because it's like, ugh, being around so many energies, it can be draining, especially when, like, I don't know, for me, I'm a stabilizer, right? My energy field works to stabilize energy around me, so I can feel like the energy flow through me when it's very active when I'm around people, and so it's exhausting. Like, I'll start to feel tense, and because you pick up on others' energy. So then as soon as I get home, I just cleanse the energy, and it's like removing a weight blanket from me or something. But that's how sensitive to energy I've become now, and I do not play about my energy anymore, because I know how valuable it is, and I'm not willing to give it to just anyone anymore. I'm only willing to give it to those who earn it. So I encourage you to notice where you're giving your energy to. Are you giving your energy too much to the news, to what's happening outside in the world, rather than focusing on your own well-being, on your family, on the people that are around you? Tomorrow is not promised. And let's say, if you knew tomorrow was your last day on earth, what would you do? Always act like it's your last day on earth. That's how we should be living life. I think it's becoming more and more clear that nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is you, because you're the one in charge of your world. And all you have to do is open yourself to the possibilities and tell the universe, show me the way, and open yourself up. Don't limit yourself. The sky's the limit, okay? They want you to think that things are impossible, that becoming rich and famous is, it's just pure luck. But it's not. It's alignment. To really sustain wealth and stuff like that, you have to build a good foundation. And so that's why you're being called to heal what's inside, because you're being rebuilt so that you can sustain the wealth that is waiting for you, the life that is waiting for you, that right now you can't even imagine it because you don't feel like it's even possible for you. Okay? Probably right now, you can't even fathom what spirit has in store for you, because if they were to reveal it to you right now, you wouldn't believe it, because whatever's inside is saying, we don't deserve that, because of our conditioning, because growing up, I was told this, I was told that. I grew up in a family with low means, and I grew up thinking that, we're always struggling, there's never enough money for things. Or, it's too much money. That's too much money. No, I'm not going to spend it because it's too much money. And it's taken a lot to get rid of those limited beliefs. But it's possible. Okay? And, it's all at your pace. You're the one in control of the pace. You're the one with the power. Whether it's spiritual and Tell spirit, hey, give me a break. They know you're human. They know humans need breaks. They know humans are dense beings, and it takes time for your body to catch up to everything you're doing. So that's why it's important to take breaks, to rest, to integrate, to ground, okay? To still do human things. Anything is possible, but we were just conditioned to think that just can't happen for us. That's unrealistic. Don't rely on logic, okay? Open yourself up to the magic, and the magic will find you. I promise, okay? I love you. You're doing amazing. You're doing the best that you can with what you have, and that is more than enough, okay? Just because I say you need to heal doesn't mean I'm saying there's anything wrong with you. I'm saying that the universe has something so amazing planned for you and you're worth it. But right now, you don't feel like you're worthy, okay? And I want you to get to the point where you feel worthy of it, because you are and you deserve it. And that's why I'm calling you to heal, not because I feel like there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, even if you decide you can't do it, or even if you decide it's too hard. Either way, the energy is going to guide you toward that anyway. Okay? But I don't know. I find it easier when you do it on your own than when the universe has to force you into it, because less chaotic that way. I wish you all the best, and remember to hold on to hope no matter what the world shows you. I love you. Bye.